So much stuff happened this week, it's going to be hard to fit it in. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today it is Friday, December 11th, and that means time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Starting off yesterday, the day that will live on in infamy. Yesterday had so much stuff, so we just have to jump right in and start talking about it. Last night, my favorite game show of all time, or not game show, my favorite gaming event of all time happened last night. It is the Game Awards. I love the Game Awards. I like award shows. I'm a big fan of like the Oscars and all the other award shows. And I always kind of feel like the Game Awards is the Oscars of gaming. And that's what I like about it. I like the award shows. I also like all of the announced games. So first I'm going to run through all the awards that kind of went out. Happy to see that Animal Crossing won Best Family Game. It is definitely a game that deserved awards. It got most of us through the first couple months of quarantine, so glad that came out when it did, and I'm glad that it got recognized for it. Ghost of Tsushima got Best Art Direction, and you can definitely tell it by just how beautiful each of the landscapes are. Every picture I've ever seen of Ghost of Tsushima is just deserves to be framed and put on a wall. The kind of art behind it was really good. It also won the Players' Choice Award. I think I saw a lot of people on Twitter during the event were kind of yelling about how they think that this deserved Game of the Year and it didn't get it, but it did. It was the one that was most preferred by players. I can see why. Especially with the multiplayer content, that just came out of left field, and I'm really excited to have played that, and I'm excited to see what's coming in the future for Ghost of Tsushima. Hades, which scored really well, got a Metacritic in the 90s, got Best Indie and Action Game, and I think that is well deserved. I think the game is amazing. I've only beat one run once, so still a little bit more story to explore, but the way it kind of trickles out information and you kind of build up strength, I think Hades really deserved the awards that it got. Among Us has blown up, even though it's been out for 2 years. The game has reached critical mass and is just tearing up through the Steam charts, so I was excited to see that it got mobile game and multiplayer game. I also thought it was really interesting that the four people who worked on the game, who have been working on the game, the studio the size of 4, all of them were kind of in the award acceptance area when they were accepting awards. This is all done digitally, but all of them were kind of on the same Zoom together. I thought that was awesome, just seeing all 4 of them, and just a reminder that that 4 people manage Among Us, which is one of the biggest games out there right now. So I'm glad to see that got Best Mobile and Best Multiplayer Game. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I definitely knew that this was going to win some awards because it was a really good game. I enjoyed playing through it. I know some people were a little jaded on the fact of how little the remake covered of the original story, but you can definitely see that why it won Best Score, because it just sounded amazing throughout the game, and Best RPG because there was really kind of no competition in this field. Everyone kind of knew that it was coming to Final Fantasy VII Remake. And last but not least, no pun intended, The Last of Us 2 won pretty much everything else. Best game direction, best narrative, and most of all, best game of the year. Laura Bailey won it for voice actress, for playing Abby, which is amazing. She did an amazing job and made an empathetic character. And I really think that this was the game of the year. I think it took a lot of guts. I was excited to see Neil Druckmann up there accepting the awards on behalf of the team, and he just the kind of guts. I think in Laura Bailey's acceptance speech, she kind of talked about the guts it takes to kind of make the story, and that people can say that it has hit or miss narrative or what they felt about it, but it definitely left an impact on the industry, and yeah, I was really excited to see that it won Game of the Year. So I think it was deserving of it. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and maybe stay civil. Another part that I like about the Game Awards is all of the game announcements. This is pretty much your as a publisher, this is pretty much your last time to talk about a game for the first, quarters of or to half of next year. It's usually, for me, it kind of feels like E3, kind of Gamescom, and then Video Game Awards. Those are kind of the big places to announce your games. And this is kind of the one that gets you through till E3. So if anybody's going to announce anything or want to talk about something or kick off a campaign, they're usually going to do it around the Game Awards. Dragon Age was back. I think last year we got kind of a behind the scenes. It wasn't really much to it, but Dragon Age gave us like a 90-second CG trailer, so it was kind of cool, kind of really pumping people up. We saw a Mass Effect sequel coming out, which I was surprised about. But now that I'm thinking back on it, remaking the trilogy, kind of typically when teams are remaking kind of trilogies or putting trilogies together, it kind of means that team's getting back together so they can start building up towards a bigger project. And I think that's what they're doing with Mass Effect. You get everybody to remake and up-res everything for the first 3 trilogies. It gets everybody thinking about that trilogy again, and then they can go on and make the 4th one. So kind of exciting to see that. Perfect Dark. This is the first time we've seen anything on it, and we've only gotten a 15-second trailer. Last time I think I saw Perfect Dark, I didn't even play the second one, so I'm thinking back to like the N64 days. But oh my god, really excited to see Perfect Dark. I think it was one of the better. I actually preferred it over 007 GoldenEye back in the N64 days, so I'm excited to see Perfect Dark again, and I think a lot of people were. One of the big things that people were talking about coming out of the Game Awards. We got Arc 2 from Arc 2, which is, I always thought that Arc was just going to continue on and on and on, just be games as a service forever, but it's exciting to see kind of them stepping into a more narrative focus, which I don't think was kind of there the first time around. And a lot of it is dependent on Vin Diesel. I remember the first time he came running across the screen in the trailer, which they showed like 5-10 minutes of trailer. I got a real sense of Uncanny Valley. Like I couldn't see his pupils, and like it was just really dark around his eyes. So very Uncanny Valley, but Arc 2 being led up by Vin Diesel. At first I was like, is this Horizon? Is this like a weird angle to get into Horizon? But there were regular dinosaurs and not robotic dinosaurs. So definitely wasn't Horizon, which is what I was thinking of at the time. Elden Ring didn't make an appearance whatsoever, but it still won the award for most anticipated game, which I guess we've got a bunch of Dark Souls fans out there. I mean, From Software makes great games, so I could see why that is. I'm more excited about Breath of the Wild 2, but maybe that one's a little bit further out. Elden Ring's kind of been in development for a long time, so maybe that's why it's more anticipated, because presumably it's closer. But I think the God of War sequel was on there, and I think that's probably closer to being out than maybe Elden Ring is, but I don't know anything about Elden Ring because it wasn't talked about at the Game Awards. So it won most anticipated. Whether or not you think it deserved it, I'm not gonna judge too harshly, but it was cool to kind of see it get most anticipated game. Saw Back 4 Blood from Turtle Rock Studios, the people behind the Left 4 Dead series. We saw a 2-minute trailer as well as 2 minutes of gameplay, and it's all the Left 4 Dead that people know and love. And I definitely enjoyed seeing kind of like the glowy parts on a zombie glowing for where you're supposed to shoot them, and just kind of I'm always looking for kind of a 4-player cooperative game that I can play around with my friends. So this could be one of them. Another Left 4 Dead I'm really excited for, because I'm a huge Warhammer fan, Dark Tide. And I think we actually got gameplay this time around. So kind of seeing that some characters, this is Fat Shark, the studio behind Vermintide. So I could definitely see the melee combat built in there, but now they're switching over to guns, and it'll be exciting to, I guess they've always had kind of a played in both. I think the elf character in both of Vermintide as well as the magic casters have always kind of had ranged spells, but hopefully this one's a little bit more 50-50 with some people going melee, some people going ranged. But yeah, I'm really excited to see more of that. I think the characters were kind of so-so, having like an Ogrin and like an Inquisitor. Like doesn't really sell kind of the genre, but it was cool to see, and looking forward to seeing more on that. Running through them real quick, the Evil Dead game, I saw that and I knew exactly from like the first line that it was an Evil Dead game, and just seeing, and then it just became, when am I going to see Bruce Campbell? And then you see Bruce Ash walk out. And oh my god, I was just really excited for Evil Dead. It's the one game I kind of like tweeted about that I was excited for. So I was really excited for the Evil Dead game. It Takes Two was also announced. It's coming from it's coming from the studio Hazelight, which are the people behind the developers behind A Way Out, which is, they always make really good cooperative games, 2-player games that you can play through, very story driven. And this one just seems to be taking it to the next level. So I'm really excited about that. And then last but certainly not least, Open Road. And if I haven't listed enough, there was 3 hours of content. So there's like hundreds of games I probably didn't talk about, but I'm also really excited for Open Road, which is coming from Annapurna Interactive, the people behind Gone Home, and I just recently played Tacoma, which was great. And Open Road is about kind of a woman and her mother just driving around, and I think this is going to be a very good, I like the art style of it, but I think it's going to be a very good narrative game. And I trust Annapurna. They're probably one of my favorite publishers of late, just because I really like their kind of titles and their story driven stuff. They kind of feel that telltale niche that I have in my heart. So looking forward to hearing more about Open Road as well. Oh my god, that was so much. But that was the Game Awards. Again, it took place over the course of like 3 or 4 hours, so there was definitely a bunch of content. Let me know if I missed one of your favorite titles, or if you disagree with any of the Game Awards that were given out. Also coming out yesterday was Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, after 8 years, the game is finally here. I've gotten my hands on it and I've been enjoying it. I went corpo, just for those who have been picking different life paths. So much fun playing the game. There's just a lot of systems. There's a lot of game there. So it could be overwhelming for some people, but including myself included. But I think if you kind of get some time to learn the systems, I think you're going to be really rewarded. And CD Projekt Red's known for kind of all of their side quests, and just how fleshed out and lived in their worlds feel. So I think that's something that I haven't experienced in my 4 or 5 hours of gameplay so far. But really looking forward to just seeing all the systems working in place. Looking forward to seeing all of the kind of content that's going to be in the game, and just playing all of the kind of side quests and narrative of the game. I think is gonna happen really well. I haven't even seen Keanu in the game yet, which means that I must be doing something wrong. But I'm looking forward to having him dance around in the back of my head. More external than that, Cyberpunk is currently sitting at a 90 Metacritic score. That's around the cusp of where, regardless of what types of game you like, you're probably gonna like the game. So that's where I usually cut it off on like 90 Metacritics. Is you should probably be playing this game. And considering I've been on Steam all week, just seeing all of my friends playing Cyberpunk, so it's definitely exploding. And a really unique article I saw this week as well, that Cyberpunk has already turned a profit. Based exclusively on pre-orders, the game is already making money for the studio, which is pretty crazy. Like, most of the time, the games invest so much up front that it takes several months, if not years, for a game to make a profit. So the fact that Cyberpunk, after so long and so much time in development, that on day one they made profit is pretty crazy to hear. So wow, congrats to CD Projekt Red on the launch of an amazing game. Moving on to everything this week is going to seem small compared to those two things, but moving right along, Kate Bishop has been added to Marvel's Avengers. This is the first DLC character to come to the game. So if you're looking for a new character to play as, if you're looking for a little bit more story, Kate Bishop is now in the game, Hawkeye. So I'm still kind of waiting. I think I'm waiting for kind of an Ultimate Edition where I get kind of the whole, where I get the whole characters all at once, and hopefully, you know, I convince a few friends to play it when the game comes out, when that kind of full set of full set of characters comes out, so that I can get the full experience. So I'm looking forward to playing that with friends sometime in the future. But if you're, you know, a diehard fan, like I know some of my friends are, Kate Bishop's been out, and you can definitely play her if you're not playing Cyberpunk. A little bit off the beaten path this week, but Halo Infinite has been delayed. It was supposedly coming out in summer 21, and has now been pushed to fall 21. I'm starting to, you know, for as much as I analyze the games industry, I really think that I need some kind of code word to tell me what this means, because I have no idea when a game studio says summer has been pushed to fall. I have no idea what that means. I've heard people saying like winter is January to March, which I would think it'd be the other way around. I think like Q4 is usually what I think of as like winter, but you know, I don't know what people mean when they say fall, and all sorts of studios are on different fiscal calendars. So this could mean anything, but it sounds like it got pushed from like June to, you know, August or September. So, you know, we have to wait a little bit longer to play Halo Infinite, but it sounds like it'll be good when we get it. So looking forward to that. I'm starting to think that I need a research section of my news report. Um, I found another article this week. I think maybe my feed is just giving me a bunch of research articles because it sees that I really engage with these articles. Read the whole article this week, based on a Guardian article talking about inverted players. Researchers are looking into why people play inverted, myself included. I'm play inverted. Actually, they're looking for volunteers, so kind of hoping to volunteer and see if I can get in on this kind of research study. It could be cool. But the kind of consensus right now is it just that you played a game and the controls were already set to inverted, or the game just became easier if you played inverted, and then that's kind of how it stuck with you at like a specific period in time? Or is it just cognitive differences? You know, the difference between left-handed and right-handed or something like that. Like, is it just something in your brain where this is how it works, and your brain can't understand the difference? I remember distinctly playing like the Medal of Honor games on like the GameCube, and I don't think I could switch to inverted, and I had to relearn how to play like normal. But then as soon as I picked up something like Halo, I was like, switch it to inverted. Like, and Halo still has one of the best ways of discovering of like auto setting, how, you know, how your character or at least how you view the game. It in the original Halo, it said look at the lights, and it just like it turned a light on above you, and the game knew that if you pressed forward to look up, then you were normal, and then if you pressed down to look up, that you were inverted. And you know, now we have the PlayStation 5 where you can set inverted and game difficulty kind of at the system level. But it was just so interesting that to have that implemented in the game, and to not have seen something like that just as quality of life standard nowadays. So very interesting. But as an inverted player, I am definitely interested to see the outcome of this kind of research. More video games. World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Activision has claimed that based on the sell-through of the sales of the game, that that it is the fastest PC game, fastest PC selling game of all time, with 3.7 million units after the first 24 hours, which is crazy, which is just just astronomically high. I could definitely see with how much my Twitch feed was filled up with World of Warcraft stuff that people were very interested in the new content for it. And even if World of Warcraft or Activision claimed that, you know, they only held on to that record for 2 straight weeks, all the way until Cyberpunk launched. Yep, I saw articles saying that as soon as Cyberpunk launched, it definitely beat that number. Cyberpunk is also touting 8 million pre-orders, so, and a significant majority of them are probably PC. So that's probably where they get their day one numbers higher than World of Warcraft's, close to 4 million. So Um, Good news for World of Warcraft fans. You know, lots of people to play with, and the record they held on to the record for a whopping 2 weeks, right up until Cyberpunk came out, which I just thought was kind of a that was just kind of just a bookend on this great record that you just got. But both games are selling phenomenally, and I don't think you can go wrong with picking up either of them. Shifting gears a little bit, there has been a nerf. Nerf and Disney are now working together, or working even closer together. They have made a Mandalorian rifle. I forget what the name of the actual rifle is, but the Mandalorian's long rifle has been turned into a Nerf gun. And I'm trying to think of is it only $120, or if that's like really high. I'm pretty sure Nerf blasters are very expensive. So having like a long rifle that's $120, I feel like is on the low end of the price. But depending on how the mechanism for loading and all that kind of stuff, it could be, kind of on the lower end because it's not as interactive or something like that. But yeah, if you're a really big fan of The Mandalorian, which I am, this could be a really cool gift, really good set piece, and I think it'll go well kind of anywhere I want to like mount some of the nerdy weapons that I have lying around the house. So this could be part of my collection, and it might be part of yours. Let me know what you think down below. I don't typically talk about crazy things like some of the SNL skits from last week, but I think this one was it is both video game related and just kind of rap related, which I thought was really fun. The SNL skit Stew, which is a parody on Eminem's Stan from way back in the day, the parody even has the Dido parts played by Kate McKinnon, and it's all about this disgruntled kind of adult, riding Santa Claus in the same kind of fashion of like Stan, and he's trying to get a PlayStation 5, which is where it kind of rounds out the games portion of it. But he's just angry about how he's just like really jaded about how he can't get a PlayStation 5, so he turns to Santa Claus. Anyway, I'll have a link down below. You've got to check it out. It's hilarious. Anyone who's a big Eminem fan, anyone who's kind of wanting to laugh off the fact that they can't get a PlayStation 5, this could be something to kind of keep your spirits up. So check out a link to that down below. Last but certainly not least, based on job descriptions for an upcoming title, BioShock 4, people are already seeing some of the job descriptions for BioShock 4, and based on those job descriptions, BioShock is going somewhere where it hasn't been before. It's going open world, which I think is something that was kind of lacking in the old BioShock days. I think the kind of hub with like different worlds to reach, like I think that's kind of a dated way of making games, which is I still love BioShock. BioShock's one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time, which I think it is. I think BioShock is my favorite game of all time. But I would think that if you brought BioShock into current gen, you would have to do something bigger and better with it, and open world could be the way to do it. But BioShock's really known for like its atmosphere and kind of the worlds it creates. So trying to still and the kind of oppressive nature of like not being able to go anywhere you want, that's kind of been built into the game. So it'll be interesting how that kind of clashes with the open world nature of kind of modern games. So I'm interested to see how it works. I just want to run around with a gun and some kind of magical power in my other hand and go around blasting people. So I'm looking forward to BioShock 4 in whatever form it takes, but I'm really excited to see more news about that. And that they're hiring means that they're getting closer, that they're driving up development, which means I don't have to wait 6 more years for this game. If they're in the hiring phase, it could be a little bit closer to kind of seeing it sooner rather than later. But only time will tell. Woo, that was a doozy. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. Links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.